So, picture this. You're looking up at the night sky thousands of years ago. No telescopes, no satellites, zero modern physics. How exactly do you make sense of all that overwhelming vastness above you? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive into an incredible ancient text that does exactly that. And it doesn't just talk about the sky poetically either. It presents a literal, perfectly calibrated blueprint for the massive cosmic machine right above our heads. We are going to decode some incredible ancient mathematics and map out the highly specific mechanical paths of the sun and the moon. Okay, here is our game plan for decoding this celestial clockwork. We'll be looking at 5 key components. First, the 2 great luminaries. Second, the cosmic portals they travel through. Third, how light is transferred between them. Fourth, the waxing and waning phases. And finally, the ancient celestial calendar. Let's get right into it. All right, part 1, the 2 great luminaries, the foundational gears of this whole system. Now, what's really fascinating here is the sheer emphasis on perfect equilibrium. The sun carries 2 distinct names, Orgeras and Thomas. The moon? Well, it's slightly overachieving and carries 4, Asanja, Ebla, Banase, and Dere. But if we look past the diverse, ancient naming conventions, the text lays down a rigid, undeniable physical law. These 2 luminaries, whose circuit is basically compared to the circuit of heaven itself, are absolutely, exactly equal in size. They're not just random fiery rocks floating around. They are perfectly matched, balanced gears that set up an immaculate mathematical equation. Moving right along to part 2, portals of the cosmic circuit. This is where we look at their exact physical paths. You have to imagine this step-by-step circuit acting literally like an electrical current for the sun and moon's paths. Our ancient source doesn't vaguely state that they just move across the sky. No, it describes a highly engineered 4-step infrastructure. Step 1, they emerge through specific architectural portals in the east. Step 2, they cross the visible surface of the heavens. Step 3, they set by entering corresponding matched portals in the west. And step 4, this is where it gets absolutely wild. Instead of dipping under a globe like we usually picture today, they are described as traveling physically around the north to return back to the east. It is a continuous, mechanical flat loop. That brings us to part 3, transferring the sun's light. Let's look at the power source. Think of it like this. In this ancient system, the moon doesn't actually generate its own energy. It is fundamentally an empty vessel. It's basically a container with a very clearly defined capacity. The text states that during the circuit of the sun, a highly specific 7th portion of light is transferred over to the moon. It's this measured, sequential injection of light that fills the moon's capacity piece by piece, right up until that specific 7th portion of the sun's energy is completely exhausted. 3 times 5. That gives us 15 precise portions of light methodically pumped into the moon. By day 15, this exact injection completely fills the moon's light, matching the sign of the year. So, by mid-month, that vessel is fully charged to absolute capacity. Which brings us to part 4, waxing and waning phases, or how this cosmic machine mechanically resets itself. Notice this fast-paced, really rhythmic countdown. The text is taking a sky that might seem chaotic and mysterious and turning it into a predictable, mathematically descending sequence. Starting from full on its first day of decrease, the moon drops to 14 parts of light. On the second day, 13 parts. It just marches down day by day, 12, 11, 10, all the way down to the 14th day, where just a tiny fraction, half of a 7th part remains, until 0. On the 15th day of the waning cycle, the light completely disappears. The circuit is entirely empty again. And you know, this totally flips our modern idea of the new moon on its head. In this ancient blueprint, the new moon isn't defined just by darkness or the fact that you can't see it. Actually, it's defined as the exact moment this massive machine re-engages. They call it the new moon because on that very first day, the light is once again raised upon her. The power transfer from the sun kicks back in, and light starts to fill up that empty circuit once more. Finally, we hit part 5, the ancient celestial calendar, and how this relates to human time. When we map out all these lunar decreases, it reveals a pattern of alternating months. For 3 months, the lunar cycle makes 30 days, and for another 3 months, it makes 29 days each time. This locks perfectly, and I mean perfectly, into a 177-day cycle across those specific periods. It's cosmic mechanics neatly translated into a highly workable calendar for humanity. But here is the kicker. To achieve that perfect full light we talked about earlier, the system demands absolute breathtaking physical alignment. The moon is always increasing opposite the sun, finally completing its light on the 14th day. And the timing is literally flawless. The moon ascends from its eastern portal at the precise exact moment the sun descends into its western portal. They pass each other like these massive glowing gears in the night sky, facing each other across the heavens. The moon shines all night, visually proving the perfect synchronization of their opposing physical paths. After going through all these heavy fractions, structural portals, and rigid physical circuits, the text suddenly shifts gears and leaves us with this incredibly atmospheric, poetic observation. At night she appears each time as a man 20 times, and during the day like the heavens, for there is nothing in her except her light. Honestly, it's a beautiful reminder. Despite functioning as a massive, hyper-calculated mathematical gear in a celestial clock, the moon still remains this purely luminous, almost ethereal presence in our sky. Which brings us to a final thought for you to chew on. If our ancestors could look up at the vast, totally intimidating sky and manage to decode it into such a perfectly calibrated mathematical blueprint, recognizing portals, mapped out paths, and precise fractions of light, what incredible hidden systems all around us are we failing to notice today? It is a real testament to humanity's enduring drive to find order and mechanics in the universe. Keep looking up, keep asking questions, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.